Our hotel is reserved for celebrities. If you are poor, please do not come. Please leave, the manager stated flatly. Because of their appearance, guests at a 5-star hotel are treated with suspicion. I was reminded of this the next day. But the manager is still in the dark. He still doesn't realize how powerful my in-laws are and how unhappy he'd be in the future. My name is Maria, and I'm a 32-year-old housewife. I do not yet have any children. Stephen, my husband, and I met while I was working part-time at a supermarket. I knew he had to be a nice young man from the start of our relationship because he has a calm and elegant personality. However, I was taken aback when I visited his parents' house to talk to them about the wedding. Their house is so large that it looks like a school playground, and a heavy gate has been installed. It's so big that the block wall extends all the way around the house, making it impossible to see it. A more surprising scene unfolds once inside the gate. A magnificent country estate, resembling a luxury villa, stood at the end of the long stone pavement. A garden appears to have been attended by a gardener next to the house. I could even see what appeared to be a swimming pool and tennis courts beyond that. I couldn't believe what I was seeing and wondered why I had come. Stephen was a remarkable young man, but how could such a young man work part-time at a convenience store while attending college? I had no idea. Stephen claims that his family members are all presidents of top companies: his father, mother, sister, and Stephen. While there have been reports of celebrities sharing their family businesses with family, this is not the case with Stephen's family. They're all accomplished entrepreneurs who grew their own business. Stephen followed their footsteps, receiving the bare minimum in tuition fees and supplementing with part-time work. Because of this, I was able to meet Stephen. He started his own business with the money he earned from his part-time job and is currently trying to expand it. My family consists of a commoner father who works for a company, a housewife mother, and a brother who also works for a company. I felt like backing out, wondering if I could actually be his wife. Stephen, on the other hand, was not worried. Your openness and cheerfulness attracted me. You're the only person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I decided to trust and follow him. What about my family-in-law? My heart was almost broken with worry, wondering if they would be let down by a commoner like me. The member of my in-laws' family who greeted me were extremely friendly and warm. They welcomed me with open arms, saying that Stephen had brought a woman home for the first time. Particularly, my father-in-law appeared to like me. Maria, you have very beautiful, clear eyes. Your behavior indicates that you were carefully raised by your parents. Stephen's vision is correct. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law were both extremely gentle and kind, and by the time we left, we had completely opened up and became good friends. My parents also liked the gentle and calm Stephen and agreed to let me marry him right away. We were married after the conversation went smoothly. Stephen had just started his business, and he wanted me to quit my job and become a full-time housewife to support him. We bought an apartment near my in-laws' house and are enjoying our newlywed life, having dinner parties and barbecues at my in-laws' house on occasion. My in-laws are extremely busy, so we have a live-in nanny. She's in her 60s, but they treat the nanny as if she were family, and I am impressed by my in-laws' kindness. I was having a good time knowing that I should be myself without being intimidated by my celebrity in-laws. 3 months since our marriage, we decided to throw a party for my father-in-law's 60th birthday. Stephen and I were going to arrange the hotel because my in-laws had taken such good care of us at the wedding. However, because my husband is working, I will be doing the actual work. I discussed it with Stephen. Your dad likes you a lot, so you can do whatever you want. I don't think he has a preference, so I'm confident he'll be content anywhere and with anything. The most difficult part is saying that I should be able to do whatever I want. When I spoke with my friend, she advised me to look for a high-class hotel if the president of a prestigious company is staying there. I found a 5-star hotel near my parents' house. Of course, because I have no ties with fancy hotels, I have never visited. Well, I assumed it had to be a good hotel, but I figured I'd have to see it for myself. First, I decided to check out the hotel. I was nervous about going alone, so I invited my best friend from high school to accompany me. I was impressed by the restaurant's extremely polite and courteous service when I called to make a reservation for lunch. This is a 5-star establishment. I thought I was dressed rather formally and nicely for a first-class hotel. I wore a white blouse with a black tight skirt and black pumps. My friend wore a nice flower print dress and pin-heeled boots as well. I felt happy and excited, as if I were about to embark on a trip. I had no idea I'd have such an unbelievable time there. I drove there in my car, which I've had since I was single, and was directed to the hotel parking lot at the roundabout in front of the entrance. The person who gave me directions was very pleasant and polite. At the time, I noticed a man in the lobby staring at me with a stern look. He wore a fine suit and stood tall and straight, his hair neatly parted into a parted style. He appeared to be a hotel employee, but we didn't recognize him. I was perplexed as to why he was staring at us so intently. There is a line of luxury black cars in the underground parking lot, and my car looked out of place. Some people were coming in chauffeur-driven cars and having their doors open for them, as I had noticed earlier at the roundabout, which made me feel a little self-conscious. I considered hailing a cab, but that would have been a waste of time because I wasn't far from home. The person who had just stared at my friend and I approached us as we entered the hotel. "You don't seem to fit in with this hotel. Can I assist you?" He said it politely, but I felt he was being very rude with his words. "I had made a reservation here for lunch. What do you mean by unsuitable for the hotel?" I inquired. The taller man continued to speak while looking down at me from above. "You came in a very ordinary car, but no one drives that kind of car in this hotel," the tall man continued. "Your clothing is also very—" He laughed when he said that. My face began to turn red. What a snobbish attitude. My best friend was unable to look at him, so she looked down. Normally, someone might become embarrassed and leave. I have a strong temperament, despite the fact that I appear to be a quiet person, and I wanted to know who was saying these hurtful things about me. I was curious as to who this rude person was. "Are you employed by this hotel?" I said, glaring at him. "I am the manager of this 5-star hotel." I thought to myself, I know he's the manager, but mentioning the 5 stars is just ridiculous. I had a thought, but did not express it aloud. His response irritated me greatly. "Does this hotel judge its guests based on their cars and appearance, and change its attitude depending on who they are?" I responded without giving up the fight. The manager sniffed and snorted in response. "A hotel's clientele is appropriate for its stature. It is necessary to maintain that dignity in order for guests to feel at ease and relax." I think I was getting a little irritated myself. "Are you saying we're degrading your hotel?" The manager's tongue clicked. I felt bad for my friend who I invited, and I considered canceling the reservation and returning home. Then, an elderly hotel employee approached me and asked, "Ma'am, may I assist you?" When I told him I had a lunch reservation, he bowed to the manager and said, "I'll take you to the restaurant." He accompanied me to the restaurant. The manager gave me a bitter look as if he still had something to say to me. The hotel employee who showed us around was pleasant, unlike the manager. "You've come all this way. I'm sorry you've had such a bad experience. I'm sure you felt uneasy. I'm sorry. We are well known for our delicious cuisine. Please, have a pleasant stay." That man was quite young for a manager. How did such a young man end up running such a fine hotel? He informed me that the hotel's owner had retired due to age, and his younger brother had taken over, with the son serving as manager. The manager is supposed to have graduated from a first-rate university, but he has no experience in hotel management and is desperate to maintain hotel standards. Even old, familiar customers appear to be given the cold shoulder and forced to leave the hotel when they spend less. The elderly employee muttered sadly, "I, too, grew up with this hotel until I reached this age. According to the new management, the hotel needs to be revitalized. I guess an old man like me is no longer required. Actually, I'll be leaving at the end of the month." There was no hope for future growth if the hotel could not take care of its employees, who had supported the hotel and helped it grow to a 5-star rating. As the elderly hotelier had explained, the food was the most delicious and satisfying I've ever had. The head chef came over to greet us, and he appeared to be quite skilled. His age was roughly the same as the hotelier. I was concerned that he, too, would be forced to leave. People are happier when they are full, and by the time we left the restaurant, my best friend and I were beaming. But just as we were about to leave again, that manager approached us again. "I will visit your restaurant again soon," and we made the decision to leave. The manager, however, was undeterred. "When people like you walk around my hotel, you lower the hotel's dignity. This is a celebrity hotel, not for the poor. Please leave immediately." He stated it unequivocally. I couldn't argue with him, because I was too shocked. The hotel itself was lovely, but the manager was so rude and unpleasant that I decided not to hold my father-in-law's birthday celebration there. There must be a more accommodating hotel or restaurant nearby. When I told my in-laws about it, they asked which hotel it was. They all looked at me with interest when I told them the name of the hotel. They were looking at me with a puzzled expression on their faces. "Let's go to that hotel. I'd love to visit such a prestigious hotel." I couldn't understand why he wanted to return to the hotel where I had such a bad experience. "You don't have to dress up so much," my father-in-law said, and everyone was asked to go there in casual clothes. My father-in-law told us to go before him and that he would join us later. The manager's sharp gaze was fixed on us from the moment we entered the roundabout. There were a lot of people in the lobby. They were relaxing on sofas or drinking coffee. There were so many people that I wondered if the hotel was hosting a large event. The manager rushed in as we sat on a sofa beneath a large chandelier, waiting for my father-in-law. He screams and glares at me. "You've returned here without having learned your lesson. You don't learn, do you? You arrived at my hotel in a minivan. You are a bother." He was still being snobbish. "We came to celebrate my father-in-law's birthday today. I reserved a table for us. You didn't say anything about a car type, did you? What's the problem?" "Not to be outdone," I replied. Everyone in the lobby was paying attention to us because we were arguing so loudly. "I can tell you don't belong here by the way you were dressed. You are dressed so casually, you'd sit one of those dirty little inns." The manager's response was absolutely horrible, and the other guests were raising their eyebrows at the manager's response. "The hotel is a place that anyone can use, right? We're going to pay. The criteria for welcoming guests is ridiculous, and a hotel that treats guests like this is absolutely disgusting." When I said that, people around me said, "The customer comes first, right? It's not right to be selective based on appearance." Hearing this, the manager, flustered, turned red, and shouted, "We are a high-class hotel. We cater to celebrities. If you are poor, please leave." "Well then, let's all go home." "What?" Hearing my father-in-law, many people in the lobby quickly got up and started to leave. All of them said, "I will never come back." I will never try to stay here again. They tried to leave, and they had a big argument with employees who rushed to stop them. In fact, the people in the lobby were all connected to my father-in-law, who had gathered there at his urging. The reason my father-in-law was a little late was because he had contacted these people. My father-in-law had been a frequent guest of the hotel since the time of the previous manager. He was so busy at the beginning, he would often pop into the hotel in his work clothes, but he fell in love with the hotel's way of treating every guest with the utmost respect. My father-in-law's company used to throw a lavish party here every year. He introduced the hotel to his family, and they often used this hotel as well. After all members of his family are company presidents, so the frequency of these parties were very high. My mother-in-law frequently used the hotel to entertain clients, and my sister-in-law used it for training sessions for executives. My husband's company uses it for celebratory events for its employees. Each company, of which my in-laws are the president of, were super important to this hotel. "Please forgive me!" someone shouted loudly and got down on his knees. It was the hotel president, the manager's father. The elderly hotelier from the other day had remembered my father-in-law's face and called the hotel president in a hurry. He apologized for the rudeness of his idiot son and made the manager get down on his knees as well. "I am truly sorry, sir, but if you were the president, I would treat you differently if you had told me. It is bad of you to use poor people to make reservations." He made excuses. It seems like there is nothing to say to this person. "You're apologizing to the wrong person. It was my son's wife that the manager got treated badly. She is a kind-hearted girl whom I cherish as much as my daughter. You should remember who the hotel is originally for. I have gratitude to your predecessor here, and I had been very close to him, but now it is time for me to end it." We left that 5-star hotel. We then moved to a diner that I often go with my own family to celebrate my father-in-law's 60th birthday. The restaurant has several private rooms, and you don't have to make a reservation to get in. The food was excellent, and my in-laws were delighted with the cozy atmosphere. My father-in-law suggested that we invite my parents as well, so they joined us and we had a grand and lively celebration. My husband and I paid for the party. Since it is a common restaurant, it isn't that much of a burden. I thought once again that we would continue to be steadfast in our creed of not getting carried away by money and not being misunderstood. Later, according to a rumor, the manager was fired and forced to start again as a cleaner. However, it was difficult to regain the reputation that once fell to the ground, and 2 years later, the hotel was closed. The next time I passed the hotel, the glass was broken, the tables and couches inside were piled up in front of the roundabout, and it had turned into a wasteland. The hotel's traditions had been shattered by a single misguided person. My father-in-law, who originally grew up in a typical family, and I get along very well, and I enjoy spending time with my husband and my in-laws. Now that we know I am pregnant, everyone is looking forward to it.